alert, we're unpacking the whole plot, twist by twist. If you're spoiler sensitive, hit pause and come back when your TBR list catches up. Cheers!
Welcome to the podcast where our reading habits are unhinged.
And so are we.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Miranda, and this is Marginally Unwell. It's Sunday. Maybe, if you're watching it on the release day.
Could be any other day that you're watching it. Today, we are diving into The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. It's a popular book right now.
It is.
It's like story woven with shadows, longing, and the kind of dangerous magic that lingers long after the last page. Grab your armor or maybe your wings, because this one's equal parts haunting and breathtaking. I'm so excited to read this one.
Me too.
I think I said this in our last episode. I only read one of her books, but I really loved it. So,
Well, I thought you read the first and second one.
I haven't read the second one. I only read One Dark Window. I have two Twisted Crowns, but I haven't read it. Now I'm in the middle of 12,000 series again.
And I put mine on hold. So, well, catching up on other reading.
Yeah.
I had to put my other stuff, so in the back of my mind, it's like, hey, what's going on? But you read the first one. I know that one's been on the TBR for a really long time, and we really enjoyed it. This is my first book from this author, and I added it to my TBR earlier in the year, springtime, sometime, I don't know. Whenever it was like, sometime this year, I could have.
Yeah, I think it was released this year.
Oh yeah, I know. I got there's a lot of TikTok, book talk conversations around it.
Yeah.
And it's been on my read list. And I know you like the author, so we decided to put it in our theme so we can guarantee read it.
Guarantee read it.
Yeah, I'm glad we did for sure.
Sorry, I was trying to look it up to see when it came out.
I thought it was this year, 25. End of summer, August?
This is not right. This is not important. Oh. No. Okay. Google's failing me because it says October 15th.
That's not right.
Obviously, because we've read it. Our publication date was May 20th.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was springtime.
Yeah, May 20th.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. Because I saw it in the summertime, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to read it in the summertime because I just don't read fantasy. I can, but I don't want to. It's a fall spooky time.
Yeah, I do think that this one really good as well. Some of the themes and characters and everything but I agree with you. But I did see it all over Book Talk when it was like first released, and I think a lot of that had to do with the hype around Rachel Gillig. I know a lot of people were this was highly anticipated, so I'm glad that we put it on to make sure that I actually got to it.
We'll get to it later. And then eventually 3 years later, so I read it. But yes, I'm glad we added it to the list here.
So let's get into the plot.
Yes, we're getting into it.
So we start out learning a little bit about our main character, Six. She is called Six. She has 5 other sisters, basically. So, other 6. And they are what they call diviners. So, 6 of them serve the Ashland Cathedral.
Yes.
And they basically, it's a little intense, the process they go through, but they essentially
drown in like this water, Ashland water.
Yeah.
And the way that they describe the water, it had an odor to it, like a sickly sweet kind of smell to it. So it was making me think of, I don't know how you envision this water, but I did. It's like, imagine drowning in not water. And
drowning in a Diet Coke. My fantasy.
But I was thinking of the what is it? The hot springs from the sulfur water from like Yosemite.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking because it has like that sulfury smell, but also it's like very like fresh because it's like it's spring. I don't know if it's spring,
but it's
it is a natural like
yeah.
I mean I guess all water's natural, but you know what I mean.
It's not processed. It's in nature still.
It's nature, raw water.
Yes, can I get some raw water? Exactly. That's crazy. That is a good point. I honestly didn't really picture anything. I was just picturing them in like a pond, like not a yucky pond, but
Yeah, I
like
wasn't
just a,
envisioning a yucky
like a
pond.
pool, maybe more like a because it was in the cathedral, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I thought it was like this.
I thought it was kind
display.
of built around, like the cathedral was built around this centerpiece of this pond thing, and so basically what happens is they're like drowned in this water, and they have dreams that show one of the omens, or shows the omens to kind of like
through 5 omens, and they're specific omens, and depending on what they do, it's a good or a bad sign for them.
Yeah.
So every person that they do these, I don't know, I thought of them as readings, like a future telling kind of thing.
It is. I would think that kind of like it was really giving me like divination class for Harry Potter and like reading the tea leaves.
Yes.
It was giving me that because
they're like a
reading the Grimm.
What would those say?
You gotta suffer.
Yeah.
You'll be happy.
You can suffer. Suffer's the word.
Yeah.
The coldest line of that movie. Book, honestly.
It's so funny.
Yes. Anyway, they're set omens. So depending on how they're interpreted, it's like good or bad.
Yeah. And so people pay
the cathedral
money to come and have a reading.
So there's only 6 girls that can do it, and then the head mistress, whatever her name is. She's not a mistress.
I've been a very different bunker.
So these diviners are perceived to be like they have like a status almost, and nobody can see them. They're always like dressed. I perceive them as like a different version of like kind of give them respect, but they also kind of like are intrigued by them.
Yeah,
but also not very religious.
Yeah, they're not very religious, but they all wear a shroud on their eyes, so nobody can see them, and so I think that creates like mystery behind them. So people are super intrigued by them. They can like tell prophecies and stuff, and so it's like people want to get close to them. So we kind of learn a little bit about that, and then we know that they're getting ready for a divination with the king who's coming.
Yes.
And he comes with all his people, his knights and stuff. And so the girls are like out on the, I don't know, balcony.
I was going to say terrace.
The same thing, fancy balcony. And see like the knights coming in and the king and everything, and all the knights are like, oh dear, they're all like getting all flirty, whatever. And I think like what do you call him? Head knight, lead knight. I don't even know if he was, right? Like,
who are you talking about?
Rory.
He was probably, I would say, second in command.
Yeah.
So of the knights.
He gets a little sassy with 6 in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
she's like this.
He's basically like super skeptical of what they do. And all the other knights are like, would give anything to be near you. And he's just like standoffish. Yeah. So, of course, she's intrigued by this because how can anybody not want her?
Exactly. She's like, this is different.
Yeah.
You always want what you can't have.
So they meet them, and then Six is chosen to do the divination. It's only one of them at a time. And at this point, I think it's talked about a little bit that she's kind of like the Alice's favorite. Yeah. She gets chosen more for like special high profile ones, or like ones that would be harder to handle. I have no idea, but so she gets chosen to do the king's reading, and it doesn't go right.
It doesn't go well at all. There's 5 different kinds of omens, and he fails every one.
They're all bad. All 5 terrible omens.
Yeah. The way she was going through these omens, it was kind of terrifying. She's like, I can't remember exactly all of the omens at the beginning of the book, but it's like she's talking about drowning, and then she falls. It's like she's constantly falling. And like one of them is a coin, she like picks it up and and then she falls again. And she's like getting hurt while she's doing this. And that sounds like she knows it's coming, but it's still like, as if you're like falling through the floor every single time, 5 times. I'm like, that sounds awful.
It sounds like a little like,
and then you wake up from drowning and you're just like, yeah. And he had a bad reading. So
yeah, he pretty much got like 10 out of 10 where she could get
5 out of 5.
Whatever.
No, but you're right.
Yeah, like could not have gone worse. Yeah, basically,
he got a 0 on the test. So anyway, everyone's kind of like, "Ooh,
that's crazy."
Yeah, that's nuts. I don't think.
The funny thing to me was the king was kind of like okay about it. Yeah, like he wasn't super like, oh my gosh, like end it now because
that's interesting. Well,
okay,
gotta go. Let's go take a nap, because it's nighttime at this point.
And so then this was the part where, so she ends up getting up. She's like in pain and like feels sick and all the things because obviously she was drowned. She's like trying to go back to her room, whatever, and she ends up. So the king and all the knights and everything stayed there.
Yeah,
and she ends up.
She's also in the cathedral recovering. And then she decides to get up to go get some water, and that's when she runs into.
And I don't know if she ends up in like their room. Because I think she ran into Maud.
She ran into Maud, and then Maud was like, I'll escort you. And she's like, you're the guest here. I don't need escorting. I just need to get some water. And she's like, Maud said, I'll get it for you. And she said, no, it's okay. I'm just going to go grab it. She opens up the room, and then it has all of them there.
Yeah. And she sees that
Rory, right?
Well, Rory's in there, yeah.
Yeah, Rory's in there, like, half naked because he got hurt or something. He was, like, tending to his... I think he got hurt in battle before they got there from something, and so he was, like, dressing the wound or something. Is that the part you're talking about?
I don't know. I don't remember that. But I was talking about her going in there, and then she sees that the king took that Ashland water.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
She had that interaction with Rory, and she's like, they were talking. He's like, what are you drinking here? I want water. And Maud's like, she just ran in here, man. Like,
Maud is one of the other knights.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Maud is the head knight, right? Key knight?
Yeah.
The main one. But Rory was in there because he was dressing his wound and, like, changing or whatever. She was surprised at seeing him. Six was surprised at seeing him. And was asking questions and this or that. And that's whenever Benjamin, they call him King Benji because he's like a younger king.
Yeah, I think he's younger than Rory.
Yeah, Rory's a little bit older. I think Rory's in his mid to late 20s.
I don't
know. I pictured him mid-20s. And Benji, like, late teens, early 20s. And then Maud, like, 30s. It's like, mother figure, big sister figure,
Yeah. So she ends up seeing Benji with the Ashling water, which is like sacred water, basically. And she ends up saying that she won't say anything, but she wants them to take her and her sisters like into the town or whatever. So key fact, we should say, is that the diviners are only like active duty for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the 6 that are there right now are coming up on the mark. They're like 2 months old. And so now they're all getting like antsy about like leaving and not knowing like what is out there and all the things. And so she's like,
the last 10 years of their lives have been in the cathedral doing, what the cathedral's needing. And they haven't really experienced real life.
Because they're all, they call them foundlings. They're basically like little orphans on the street. And so they're all found as little kids. And then they do their 10 years and then
Released
the world. So she's like, they're all curious or whatever. And so she's like, I won't tell, but you guys have to take us into town. So they do that. That was a whole funny thing. And all the knights were like,
we'll take them.
No,
we'll protect you.
and this is what we were talking about, that they are not really religious. Because they were like all hooking up with each other.
Yeah.
They are not, it's not like nuns over here, okay?
No, I meant like religious figure as in like they're
more of a
cathedral.
Exactly.
They're
easily confused.
I was thinking of them as like chosen ones and cathedral, and people want to get close to them, but because they're not necessarily untouchable, but like a prize, like they carry status.
Yeah. So they all go out, have fun, do the thing, whatever. Anyway, come back. And I think at this point, the king and the knights leave. I don't think
they're back by now.
No, I think that they end up, so they all go to the town together.
Yeah.
Go explore, whatever. And then the girls come back, but the king and the knight are like, king and the knights are going back to his place or whatever.
Yeah, the guest quarters.
No.
They're leaving?
Yeah, because they weren't there when the stuff started to go down.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what point they left. I don't know if they all came back and then they left like the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it was like the day after that.
Mm-hmm.
They wake up and one
Of the sisters?
they really should order if that happened. Whatever. One of the sisters, one of the other 5, is
the shroud.
I thought it was just like over their eyes. That's how I was picturing it.
I was not picturing it. I thought it was like full face. Like shroud, and then like some of them had it like higher and like lower. Some of them had like, I didn't realize that they're all the same.
I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought that they were like just
all of them covered their eyeballs for sure, but I thought some of them had it like, I pictured them all different.
Oh,
because they're all kind of like different.
They're all like have their own personality, and
then like one of them wanted to be more risque and had it right here, and then one of them, I don't know. I thought of them as like
interpretation. I don't think that was factual to the book.
Yeah, I could just added a little bit
flair,
a little bit of flair, like all the same but different. Anyway, so one of them went missing. Not number 1, maybe.
I want to say it was 4.
I thought it was 4 too.
Again
4 as well.
I don't know. It could be. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
One of them went missing, and obviously everybody starts searching out. Yeah. They're searching, and they kind of think like, oh, maybe she like ran away. Like she was just like, I'm done with this. I'm bye. And then I don't know if it was at this point or not, but the abbess like sends. They have gargoyles there at the cathedral, and they're like alive.
Yes, alive gargoyles.
And so she sends them out to like go search, and then she assigns all the girls
A gargoyle.
to stay with them. So 6's gargoyle is hilarious.
Yes.
One of the best parts
6's gargoyle.
about this book. But anyway, so that happens. They're trying to figure it out. Go to sleep, and then the next day, I think at that point,
It's been some time, yeah. Sometime.
the first missing. Oh, I thought it was like the next day. Oh, how was that sometime?
Okay, anyway. They go missing one by one, like every...
I thought that
24
the second
hours.
time, 2 of them went missing at once. Like they woke up and 2 more were gone.
Okay. That makes... Yeah, because then it got a little bit more frantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then basically, yes, more everybody's freaking out, everything. And then the next day, another one gone, another one bites the dust. And the next one after that.
Yeah, so now 5 of them are missing and 6 is the last one.
Yeah.
Still with her girl.
Yes. And it was like, it was sad too, whenever it was just down to her, whatever one was left before she went missing, because then they were like trying to keep each other up all night, because they kept thinking it was happening.
They were thinking it was happening at night and somebody was taking them.
Yeah.
And
Because the first one, they were kind of like, maybe we should run away, but then once it was happening more, they were like, okay, something's happening. So they thought that they were like, it was stolen in the night. So they were like, no, go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then she woke up and she was gone.
Okay. So 6 is the last one. And then I believe they wrote to...
I thought she went. She left and tried to go find him or whatever. Remember? And she like knocked on the thing, and then they were like, King Benji's not here. And so she was like, okay, great. And so she goes back, and then I don't know where Rory ends up showing up. And he's like, we gotta get out of here.
It's just a sus.
He was like, I told you this stuff was not right.
So I told you so, but we gotta go.
So Rory ends up helping her. Yeah, and they like run into the abyss as they're like trying to escape, and
Alice is not happy about it.
yeah,
And she ends up making her get away with Rarity, and I was gonna say her gargoyle is her protector.
yeah. And he's like, take me with you.
Take me with you. I want to go.
It was so sad. So at first she was like, no, like
You stay, gargoyle. They always refer to him as gargoyle. He doesn't really have a name, but he's very funny. He's very witty. He doesn't understand things like completely. He doesn't completely grasp what it is. And what I loved about his character is that any like phrase that he had, he would say it incorrectly.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of one now. I should have wrote down some examples. Like common sayings that you would have.
And she's like, it's not that, it's this. And he's like, and he'd have some kind of comment about it. He's like, that doesn't make sense. What if it would be this?
And I think one of them was like cold shoulder, and he was like, he said cold and like another body part or something, and she was like, it's cold shoulder, and he's like, nah. But like every single thing,
A cold head, I think, because it's like it makes sense when he like the way he describes it, but it
literally gives me the vibes of that episode of Friends where Joey's like, it's a moot point, and they're like, you mean a moot point? And he's like, no, a moot point. Like it's a cow's opinion. It doesn't matter. And they're like, and then Rachel's like, have I been living with him too long, or did that just make sense?
or when he's like my Joey's apple. And she's like, how many times do you have to tell you it's an Adam's apple? No, but mine's Joey. It's Joey. It's exactly that.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
It's a moot point.
And he also calls everybody by the same name.
Yes.
He calls everybody Bartholomew.
Bartholomew?
Yeah.
I'm 6.
He calls her Bartholomew. It's really funny because he'll be like talking to them, like about them, and he's calling all of them Bartholomew.
Yeah. It's like, but Bartholomew, da 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 da. And Bartholomew, and it's like, That's Rory, that's Moth, that's Six, and all of them are Bartholomew.
Yeah. So he's like, please take me with you. At first she's like, no, and then he convinces her, and so he's along for the ride.
Which I'm glad.
Yeah, me too.
Not more that guy.
So they go back. I think he takes her back to Benji's
Camp.
Yep, I don't know.
Yeah, they're going back to their camp because they were making their way somewhere. They were going somewhere.
Oh, because I think she went to the castle.
Yeah.
And they were like, he's not there. And then Rory got word of it. So he went to go see what was going on. And went and got her and brought her back.
Yeah.
Because they were traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So they get back. Now they're with Benji and Maud.
Yes, all the knights that came. Maud is. I really liked Maud. She gave older sister vibe, mother hen, and she helped raise and Rory and Benji. And while they're camping and they're starting their journey, Six starts to realize that Benji is trying to be more like Rory, like brave and knightly and all these things, and looks up to him. And then Rory he's a little like a thorn. What is it? What's the thing? What is that? He has like some tortured man vibes. Tormented. Yeah. Or he's trying to be like for the realm, but he's not really knightly, but he wants to be.
Yeah, well, we did learn more as they kind of go through their little journeys that how he came to become like a knight. Basically, he was busted
Stealing.
He was a thief. And then Benji's dad basically was like, you don't gotta live like this. I don't remember. Whoever was before him, took him in basically and was like, you don't need to do this, whatever. And
go on to service.
Kind of took him and was like, be a knight. So, but he still has this tortured past. And so, the brooding male, the brooding MMC that it's like, I can
Just
never be loved and you don't want to get close to me. I'm actually not a good guy. That type of feel. And so Benji and Rory and everybody starts explaining to Sig how they are basically trying to take down the omens, that they're actually really bad, and this was something that Benji's dad or grandpa, whoever he was kind of had looked into and realized that the cathedral wasn't all it was cracked up to be, and so they're carrying that on. So she's kind of along for the ride, and I think it starts out with the one omen that ends up saying he agrees to a fight. There's some weird fight rule where you can challenge them to their craft or something.
Yeah.
And so they have to accept it or something like that. I don't remember. And so they're there dealing with the one omen, and he basically agrees to it, but he's have to fight her. Meaning Six. And that's how she gets kind of more involved. And so they start training her and all the things.
Give her all the things?
What? I said train her to fight and all the things.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought I heard something else.
They were training her because they had 3 days until this first fight or whatever. So she ends up fighting this omen, whatever, and she almost dies because they had 3 days to train her. And
she's lived a lush,
secluded. She was not a trained fighter. What's the point of that? And but she kind of through the training, through getting to know them and stuff, and she is also trying to look for the other 5 diviners, and so she's trying to get their help, and so they're basically our stories kind of aligned because we're trying to do this, and this may be the path you need to take to find them. And so as she follows with them trying to look for her sisters, then she kind of gets more involved, and it's like, you're right, I'm actually like, I'm with you guys. So she fights the omen, almost dies, and then that's where I feel like that's really where the first love blossoms.
Interest. Yeah.
Because he says something to her like before she like goes to fight, something about like, you gotta live because you're gonna give me a kiss after this or something like that. Remember? And
Yeah, I was like, oh. But it was sweet, but just the way, I don't know, some of these things that just give me the ick. Or like, so it's gonna go. But I mean, it was very cute. They're very. But wasn't her? Is this the point where she got the chisel and the axe, the chisel and hammer as her weapon of choice?
She did that whenever she left the cathedral.
Okay, I thought that was an interesting little. Her choice of fighting weapon was chisel. Why do I keep saying axe?
Hammer.
Chisel and hammer. Because these omens are made of stone.
Yeah.
Stone. So I thought that was interesting. Starting it off like immediately, they're like all stone. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's what she was like the most comfortable with. She used them for something at the cathedral. It was like one of her chores or something, basically.
Yeah, I thought it was making stones for the replacement, like mortar.
Maybe that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
And so she was like, that's the only thing I basically know how to use.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's not like a weapon, she was like, that's all I can think to bring.
Yeah, and I was like, good choice because they're all stone.
So, well, and she didn't know at that time
Yeah.
that she was going to be fighting them, but yes, it ended up
Working out.
Oh, so after like fighting, I don't know if it was that opening or one of the other ones later. Eventually, I think it was the last one. They end up telling her that as they're like dying, they're like all the 5 diviners are dead.
Yeah, I want to say this was the third or the fourth of that because it was towards the.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So, and they ended up saying like, because he was like, I drink their blood or whatever, and he was like, they're dead. She was kind of like, I
Don't believe you, but she didn't want to.
She was like, I knew, but she didn't really want to accept it still. But she knew.
Yeah, because it's been at this point, it's been like a week or something. Because they're like on foot traveling this forest. And they're not only. I don't remember why they ended up staying with each other like they like the nights and stuff. Do you remember? Because they weren't they trying to get to another location and then along the way they are also like running into these sprites, the mountain sprite. Mm-hmm. Can't remember talk about those for a second because this was
okay. You
because they're like traveling to find these omens, and then in their travels they are in like this convoy, where they have like horses and like these carts that are pulling the horses and all of the knights and everything. And some of the knights are going ahead to like check the scene or whatever. And some of them came back like Six and the gargoyle and the king. And during one of the instances, they run into a sprite, and there's like a little bit of prejudice against sprites that they're like clearing them out for the humans, getting them out of. But it seemed like they were trying, so that way humans can like make settlements and whatever.
I don't know about that. I know that there was like some sort of prejudice against them, but I thought that was just like outliers kind of deal.
Living in nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how some of them saw him. But Six and Moth was also there, same with the king, and they were like packing up camp or something, and the topic of sprites came up, and Moth was saying, I don't have any kind of feeling or, I feel bad for like killing them for no reason, but I will kill them if I need to. Yeah, I could kill one today. And
basically, she was like, all my ancestors have always we've always killed them, but like. I don't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not going to just kill him because I'm going to kill him. There's got to be a reason, essentially. And then in the middle of this conversation, they are describing it as like a mountain starting to stand, or a hill. I don't know. It would be massive. And it starts to like rumble and become like this big old mountain sprite. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that is enormous. That's not what I thought a sprite would be. I'm thinking it's going to be the size of like this jar, like this little thing that's a little pest, you know?
TBR jar.
Yeah, it's like 8 to 10 inches tall versus a big old mountain.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other ones, but this is the one that they're talking about. And so all the knights are like, oh my gosh, we gotta, fight it. We gotta do something about this thing. So their weapon of choice is whips, and the sprites don't like the sound of the whips, or it's disturbing or whatever, so they kind of end up like, you call it? I don't know if they killed it. I have no clue. And while they're doing this, it's like Six is just amazed by how big it is, because I don't think she's experienced one before.
Well, I mean,
She's been sheltered.
yeah.
And Gargoyle's like, oh wow, that's big. He's just like, just kind of like, look at him. And while they're packing up they're trying to pack up camp and everything, there happens to be another mountain one that is a lot closer to them, and it ends up trapping King Benji in between these stones, and Gargoyle and Six are trying to get him out. And all the knights are trying to run back to them to help the king, because the king is so endangered, whatever. And I don't even remember how he killed the sprite. I thought it was crazy. Like, how are you going to kill a mountain?
It's just one hammer. It's just like...
Just like, oh, my eye. Anyway. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I wasn't expecting them to be that big. I was thinking that they were going to be like these cute little wispy things, and that they're just like kind of pesky and in the way, It was not. They're these big old creatures.
Yeah, I guess because it was a mountain sprite, in other books or things they can be different. It would be like the difference in like, I feel like there's other, what did you say, like races.
Yeah.
That like, there's like a wood elf or a dark elf. And like, I know that those don't vary necessarily in size, but they vary.
And yeah, so I was thinking it was kind of like, and then once I realized it's a mountain sprite, then I was thinking like Frozen 2.
The ice
guy, and then the little fire one was like a fire salamander, but they're all the same thing, but they have like their own element.
Yeah.
So, and then the boulder guy.
Whenever they were like in the convoy thing, I don't know if it was, how soon it was related with the sprite fight. One of the things he said was about the horses. He was like talking about beating a dead horse or whatever. Like he thought it was real.
And was like, why would you beat a dead horse?
And then
It seems excessive.
he was like, it's just an expression or whatever. He's like,
We try to find some of these quotes.
Yeah, as she gets more involved with them, and then when she realizes like the other 5 diviners are gone, she's kind of looking more like I found family in them, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember how it comes about, but basically Benji offers to knight her.
Oh yeah, that was
yeah. And so after they've like found the omens and they've like fought a lot of them and whatever, she's like decides to like take him up on his offer, and because she kind of doesn't want to be, she wants to like make her own choices now, since she's had so long of like she was told what to do and like her fate was just
pretty much
decided.
She's also kind of going through at this point kind of an identity change, and because she had a name before, and she admits that she's almost forgotten it a couple times because they assigned them a number.
Yeah.
And then after 10 years, they're supposed to go out and like live their own life. But she's starting to realize during their journey that she knows nothing about the real world. There's all these events going on, these dangers, and like all this stuff that's happening.
Yeah, and so he offers to knight her, and at first she was like kind of battling with it because she was like, basically, if I end up getting knighted, then I'm like
Serving
him, like I'm just moving from one to another.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, basically, it's not like that deep. He was like trying to convince her, and she ends up agreeing to it. But she's like, I want you to like use my real name, and so she ends up telling all of them that her name is Sybil when she was little, before she. Yep. And so she gets
a part of this. Rory was also having a difficult time with it as well, because in traditional king, they're laying an oath to the king, and Rory was very adamant that if some of the verbiage and some of the oaths were,
he was like, no, that's not. He was kind of arguing with Benji about it and being like,
and Benji's like, what the hell, dude? Like, this is.
Yeah. And so that's why it was kind of weird too, because he was like, you agreed to the same thing, but like, I've never held you to that, basically.
And it's like, yeah. But you want them to.
But so then what does it matter, kind of thing?
Yeah.
So they kind of got into a little
tiff
over it. It's really crazy how we keep using the same words.
I know, it's happening a lot this episode. We also find out that Rory didn't do a traditional knighting either. He had his own rules and changes and stuff. He wanted to do the same thing for Sybil, kind of protect her identity there.
So through all this and like all the things that they find out through fighting and getting to the bottom of the omens, they felt like what the omens are.
I think she's starting to suspect because Gargoyle's kind of. He has like these random like.
Well, he says some crazy stuff. He also says some things that you're like
very profound.
Yeah.
Some things. He's like, oh, good person, and he has like almost like a voice of reason, but also like
crazy, you know. But so she starts piecing together kind of like the cathedral and the diviners and the omens, kind of not what everybody thinks that they are, and that there's something more
to this that's underlying it.
Yeah, and
like she's starting to realize that there's some kind of like ominous. Is that the word?
Yeah. There's something like bad about it, that it's not like what she was brought up to like believe.
Yeah, they're not unbiased.
And we talked about then they finally
get to the last one.
Well, so we find out more about Rory's story, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
And then about like how he became a knight and how Benji and everything, and Mom was already there, and she kind of like took them
Mother hand. She said, one over here and one over here.
And so with that, they end up going after the last omen. They're like searching for the last omen. And they go in like this cavern.
I was thinking mine
thing. Yeah. It's stressing me out. It's like the one thing I cannot with like, because I was picturing. Because I think at one point they were talking about gargoyles' wings when they were down there. And it was like giving me claustrophobia vibes. Because every time I like watch anything with people like in tight caves, I can't. I just can't do it. I was like, oh god. So anyway, they're in some sort of cavern cave mine thing. And they come upon this whole cavern of. What are they?
What? I'm talking about where Rory falls into the water and there's a bunch of coins at the bottom of it. Because he drops his coin and you can't find it.
Is that where they found the cavern? Yeah, but I was talking about like when they actually get the lady. Because they split off.
They split off because Rory falls.
And so he
falls into, they're like walking, it's so dark. Rory falls into like this stream of like water, and at the very bottom of the water there's a lot of shiny stuff. And he hurts himself. There's like these rocks that are sticking out and some wood and whatever. So they get him out of the water, and Rory finds out that he dropped a coin that is sentimental to him.
Well, it's powerful.
It's also a powerful coin.
Yeah. And so about it, it was something that they were trying to train Sybil with whenever she was like about to fight the one omen. Basically, it has powers like you like throw it, you can transport to like that
That's
spot,
right.
and then like, or if you throw it and it like hits something, it'll explode.
Yeah.
And so it's like a valuable coin more than just like monetary value.
Yes. So yeah, it wasn't monetary. I was thinking it was like sentiment because I thought he got it from somebody else.
I think he did get it from somebody else, but it was like it's like a one of a kind. Like it's not.
Yeah. They had like a little thing about it where she was like, "No, you don't. I don't want you to go back down there because it's dangerous. There's a strong current. You're hurt. Crack some ribs." And he's like, "No, I need to get my coin." It's like
yeah.
And so he's like, goes to help him, and then Gargoyle also kind of helps. I think he like, because it's like an opening now, Gargoyle cannot fly. So he is helping Rory get that, and then Sybil starts hearing something. Like she starts kind of like wandering off and seeing what's going on over there. And in that, she's like going through these tight little dark corners. Your favorite.
Yeah.
And it opens up to another cavern opening, and she sees 4 like laid out on a pedestal rock, like out almost as if I imagined it like princess, like
I imagined it.
oh, you did? I imagined it like this, and she was like,
I was more like crucifix style, but like laid out on a rock.
I imagined it like this.
Ethereal,
because she said that she seemed very like almost like she was asleep, and she had her hair was short and brown and like covered part of her face and all these things.
I don't know. The main thing I remember about that was that the cavern was covered in like
Moths.
Chrysalises.
Yes.
What's the plural of chrysalis?
Crystalline?
I don't know.
Crystal. Is it like fish for in fishes?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Anyway, that doesn't matter at all. But and so but the last omen is in there, which is the moth.
While she's looking that up, Sybil is trying to wake up her sister, and she's realizing that she's no longer alive.
Either chrysalises or chrysalides.
Crystallites.
More you know. So she sees 4. She sees the.
She's realizing that her blood's been drained.
4's blood. I don't know. Maybe.
I thought it was in the process of it.
Maybe it was.
And
she's dying.
Yes, she's dead.
Dead or dying.
She's already dead. And I don't know. Anyway, the moth kind of steps out while she's trying to figure out what's going on with her sister.
Mm-hmm.
And the moth seems kind of freaky looking.
She was like, I feel like the other omens weren't like fully stone yet, like, but she seems to be, and was like, what I was picturing, what I think was explained was like she's like very old, and like her features were like real messed up because they were all stone, and basically her and the moth start talking, and the moth kind of lays out everything for her,
everything about the sisters, the diviners, the first diviner. She kind of talks about the abbess. She starts spilling all the tea.
Yeah, she basically ends up saying that the abbess is like taking kids and drowning them
in the ashling water. If you drown in the ashling water, you can only come back to life one time, and which I thought was,
and that's how they become a diviner.
That's how they become a diviner. But once they die, the ashling water cannot revive them again. And in doing so, she realized in the beginning was that women are more prone to survive the initial drowning. They're stronger. They withstand more of the divining. They're going to water.
Yeah, I don't know. I think whenever they are doing like the divination thing, they're like on the verge of, like, it's like bringing them to the brink, not actually like
That's true.
be revived. Basically, she drowns them enough to where they like hallucinating. So, but she basically ends up explaining that the abyss is like just after power, and she's like done all this, and all the omens were created basically, and so they're not gods. They're just like created by her, and
What a masterclass in advertising.
yeah, and basically
She said, I'm going to make a product and I'm going to sell it.
yeah, and so so she made them, but then they like work for her basically, and if they disobey, which is what the moth did, it's kind of like, I'm not doing this crap anymore. She stops giving them the ashling water, which is what keeps them like alive, and that's why she's like all decrepit and like fully stoned, and the other ones weren't. And so she's explaining to her like all these things, and she's like, Sybil's basically like, this is all like all coming together, all the things, and they're talking about it, and she's basically like, I want you to just kill me because like I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just suffering. But she's telling her too, when they get talking about how she like chooses girls, come to find out that the very first one was a boy, and she's like, but I can't remember his name, all the things, but once the diviners are done with their 10 years, they're not let go. They're actually given to us to like feed on because their blood has the ashling water and it keeps us alive. So she's basically creating these things to like profit off of, get power off of, and then letting the omens kill them.
Yeah.
And nobody else knows about this stuff. And so she's like, I don't remember the boy's name, and something else gets said that like clicks in her brain. A story that the gargoyle has like been trying to tell her, and she's like, no, we don't have time, And then I think right about that time, Gargoyle and Rory come in, and then she's like, Gargoyle, tell me the story, and he ends up telling her the story of, or no, so I think she's like, I can't remember the name, and then the Gargoyle comes in, and it like dawns on her, and she says Bartholomew, and the moth is like, yes, that's it.
Yeah.
And so she's like, tell me the story. And so he tells her the story of basically.
Bartholomew, tell me the story.
Yeah.
Tell me the story of the boy. Because he's been trying to tell her about a story about the boy.
Yeah. And basically tells her that he was the first one, and his name is actually Bartholomew. That's why he called everybody Bartholomew.
And he's like, just trying to tell everybody his name. Not gonna lie. That was very sad for him.
It was sad. Yeah. That's how he ended up becoming a gargoyle.
Yes, it's because he drank so much of the ashling water.
Yeah,
he became.
Because she didn't know at that point that like there was a point where the ashling water would cause them to turn into stone, and so that's basically what happened with like the first ones, and that's how they got the gargoyles. And he was the first one. So that was crazy, wild ride, and sad story for poor Bartholomew. And it was also like made sense to his character because he was kind of stuck in this like
childish state.
But he had lived so long that that's why he had these like profound things, and he also kind of like knew some things. But then he was really like a little boy.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting.
It was very, yeah. I liked how that all kind of came together.
Yeah. And then, so she ends up killing her because she's like, please kill me, whatever. Killing her, all the moths go everywhere. Yeah, come out of their crystalites,
yeah, that's it.
And they go, and so she fills them in, all the things, and they're like, cool, we're going to go storm the cathedral.
We're going to go talk to the axe.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we missed a part here. or about Sybil.
Oh, that was right before they went.
That was the night of the night of the nighting.
Yeah, when they first. So her and Rory got together, and then.
Yes, after the nighting, she went to go talk to Rory and thank him, I think, about the nighting terms or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, about the slow burn starting to burn. And so they get together. And in that, she takes off her shroud, and we find out that her eyes are actually stone.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I can't imagine seeing that stone eyes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is magic.
Yeah. Well, so she didn't see it at first whenever they were first like getting together, but then
Mhm.
like the next morning or like right after or whatever, she went into his bathroom and he had a mirror, and that was the first time she'd ever like seen her eyes,
Mhm.
and so she
I don't know. Yeah, which I don't. How did you picture the eye reveal? Did you think it was just like the eyeballs I was seeing?
I'm picturing it as it was like the eyeballs, but that her skin was kind of like almost looked like, you know, in like zombie movies and stuff, whenever skin like first starts to get, they get all like the veins and everything. That's kind of what I was picturing. Like it was like stone, but then it was like gonna be spreading.
Yeah.
Because basically that's what would happen if she had continued drinking the water. So
that's kind of what I was thinking too. But I was like, man, the lids must hurt. You know, if it was I had a whole I had a whole thought process around it, because I'm like, man, because it says specifically her eyes. So then I thought her eyeballs,
Yeah.
and then imagine like the skin touching,
rubbing
against the eyeball. I'm like, how do you not feel that? Because the eyeball is not wet.
Well, yes,
It's not snow. It is magic. So then I was like, maybe the lids too, because then it's like the same kind of material. And so I imagined it like not quite the eyebrows, and kind of like you were saying.
Yeah.
But not quite to the hairline or anything. I was like, how does this work? Trying to put logic into magic.
Yeah, because I guess that's kind of too where another point where she was like first starting to realize that like something wasn't right
About this. Yeah, because it was right before they got to the last omen.
Yeah.
And she was starting to realize, like, why is everybody stone?
Yeah.
And the gargoyles are stone, the omens are stone, half human.
And so that's why she's kind of, once she gets to the Moth, she's like asking questions, and the Moth is like explaining them. So yeah.
And I think she was able to get a lot more out of this one, because the other omens were still a part of it.
They still wanted to be working with the Abbess and everything. So all that happens.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh dang, I'm turning into stone. She's like, I'm hideous. I'm like, no, you're really good. All the things.
Yeah.
And
even that.
Yeah. So anyway, so then fast forward again after the Moth thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, we going to get the Abbess because like she's a POS, so we gotta take her down.
Yeah, we gotta cancel her.
So her and Rory and Maud and Gargoyle like go there, and then Benji is gonna like meet them with like the rest of them. So they go confront the Abbess. She like is trying to like talk her way out of it. Like, this is like, you believe in this, basically trying to gaslight her into like the way she grew up.
After everything I saved you from the streets, I told you all these things.
Yeah.
You lived with me.
Like dead if it wasn't for me, basically. Like, you owe me everything.
And you're claiming all this stuff.
Yeah. And so basically they don't end up falling for it, and they get into like a battle, and they end up taking her down in the cathedral.
Yeah. They also talk about how while they're taking her down, I thought this was a really beautiful moment. Not like beautiful, like beautiful, but like cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
Where she pulls, Sybil pulls the shroud, because it's an extended shroud on her. Like you could see nothing from the Abbess. She looks like
totally covered.
She's completely covered. and it's very wispy and like I don't know. And so she pulls this off of her, and she sees that the abyss is completely stone. And
Yeah, but she's like,
young.
yeah, and it's like white or whatever. I was picturing it like marble.
Yeah, I was picturing it that way as well, like a very
Like polished
stone. And how I don't know, I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, and she was like,
because she was also like a different type of stone than
and she's like, you can't hurt stone, basically.
You can't cut stone.
Yeah.
She's like, I can with my hammer and chisel. I have no sword.
Yeah. And so she gets her and chisels her. And then I don't remember how the cathedral got exploded, but
I think it was like in the whole fight. I thought something got knocked over.
And it was just kind of like,
and it caught fire.
Yeah.
And
so
going
down. And I think
and
it's like
Rory is still hurt at this point because he had fallen into that water in the cabin.
Yeah. And so I think too, like towards the end of the fight, that's when they saw like the banners of Benji coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of like wrapped up, the cathedral's like crumbling to the ground. They get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Benji comes and meets them, and they're like trying to tell him like what happened. And then out of nowhere, Benji stabs Rory.
Yes.
Which was, I was like,
I know y'all been not meaning, I don't know a whole lot of things, but that's
like it definitely was like looking back, like you could see Benji was getting a little bit more like short with them, and was getting to me more like, yeah, like you can't always tell me what to do forever. Like I'm not a little boy anymore, basically.
Mm-hmm. Trying to prove himself.
Yeah. And they were kind of like, sit back a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Don't be a part of this battle. Like they're still, I think it was a little bit of both. Like they should have like seen him more as like his role versus that, and then he should have realized that he needs advisors and he doesn't need to like prove himself on everything.
Yeah. So anyway, so he stabs Rory, and that was like crazy, and they all freak out. What's like, what are you doing? Like,
Yes.
And he basically ends up saying that
I'm gonna take advantage of
doing
the situation.
Yeah, and I'm basically gonna take over the Ashling water, and like I'm gonna be in power now. I'm gonna have all the things. And she was like, yeah, but we know that they're like not real. And he's like, yeah, but people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm gonna, yeah, like you said, take advantage of it. And he's like, but I need a diviner. And so he's like, you're gonna come and be my queen.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, this fucking I am. And then he basically is like, if you don't, I'm gonna kill all of them. Rory, Moth, and Gargoyle. And so she's like, basically ends up being like, fine, like I'll go with you, but like you get to let them, you have to let them go. And of course, Rory's like, no.
He's like, you're bleeding on the floor.
Yeah, and she's like, I have to, like, there's no other way. He's gonna like kill you guys. Like, just go.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's gonna go with him. And it was really sad because she's like going with him, and then Maud's like dragging Rory, and then they're like, come on, Gargoyle. And he's like, no, we need Bartholomew. And he's like
freaking out.
sad.
He's like, I'm hurt. I'm Bartholomew's squire. We're together. I'm the protector. And I was like,
it was so sad.
It was so sad
because he like didn't understand. That was one of the funniest things though about him calling everybody Bartholomew, was like, especially when Rory and Sybil were first like falling in love. And he was like, you need to tell Bartholomew you love her.
When are you going to put Bartholomew out of her misery?
Yeah. It was hilarious. And so she goes with Benji, and they are going off, and it's over. That's it. So obviously we're getting another one. That was a heck of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
I was so upset. I was like, it really broke my heart.
The
Bartholomew's like, I mean, also for Rory too, because he's like, he's obviously, he's a knight, he's in love with her, so he's like feeling like I need to protect her.
And he can't.
And he can't do
physically.
anything, and she's like going off with the dude who just stabbed him.
Yeah, which would be, I can't imagine being in his position because he is someone that is physically fit, it's like physically protects everything,
Yeah.
and he cannot do that. Not only is the woman that he loves like being forcefully taken from him, but it's also from his childhood best friend.
Yeah, so
slash
it's
brother.
like so much betrayal. Super crazy, super wild ending.
It was
Ready for the
really-
next one, which is still going to be like next year.
next fall. So we'll just have to remember. Thankfully, we have an episode to look on.
Oh, just rewatch it.
But yeah, it was definitely interesting. Definitely interesting take on events here.
Yeah. So,
would you recommend this book to others?
1000% yes.
I thought it was beautiful. I think it was beautifully written, the storytelling and the little hints throughout the book really came together, and it wasn't like obvious hints.
Yeah.
It was like little sprinkles here. And nothing came out of truly left field. Like it made sense.
Yeah. Like, even though it was shocking, like, what happened, when you think about, like, the events leading up to it, you're like,
It falls into
Okay.
place. And
like, I'm pissed that he got there, but I can see how.
yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. I thought that was really good. I was surprised about some of the things. Some of the reveals I was kind of expecting, but the major ones, like the Moth stuff, I was surprised about. The eyes thing, that's very unique.
Yeah.
I also think, even though it's fantasy, it's not fantasy. It's not like high
It's
fantasy.
not.
So I think anybody that is wanting to get into fantasy, this would be a really good book for that.
Yeah.
too.
I definitely, I love her writing a lot. I don't know, I just feel like there's nothing that, like, I can compare it to. Like, it's
I was
saying,
about
like,
to-
it's similar to this or that or whatever. And so I feel like she just has a very unique take on things. Like I said about, One Dark Window, the magic system and that, I feel like it's so unique. And as somebody who reads a lot of fantasy and a lot of books that have different magic systems, like, it's really wild whenever you, like, see something new. And I think that this was a different kind of story. Like, I haven't seen, I'm sure there's something out there maybe, but
Yeah, it's hard with fantasy because I also really love fantasy, but I get tired of it because eventually it all kind of blends together.
yeah.
It's essentially the same storyline. They're going through some kind of journey and trial, and there's magic elements. I do think that this, and I haven't. This is my first book from her, but I really think that she writes a very in-depth story set in fantasy. Like, there's fantasy elements.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a traditional fantasy where there's a king, there's a rebellion.
Yeah.
And
Which is very how One Dark Window is as well. It's not like, you're not, like, so in the fantasy world like that. I don't know. I really like her writing a lot. I think because it is different, that also helps with the engagement, because I'm like,
it's not like you're rereading the same story in
Yeah.
a different context.
and yeah, that's good.
That was very beautifully written. Writing style.
Yeah. I like her writing a lot.
I
I think
think it flows very well, even with the dialogue. Even with the gargoyle calling everybody Bartholomew, you knew who he was talking about.
Yeah, which I think that's an interesting point to make, because, like, there was such distinction between them that, like, he could call everybody the same name, but you knew who he was, like, referring to. And so I think that speaks volumes to her writing and the detail, and that the characters had their own personality and right.
Yes. Thought the story engagement was also there. I didn't ever feel like it was lagging in anything.
And I thought that while there was a lot of seriousness, obviously, like, everybody she knew basically died early on, and then she's, like, fighting and doing all this stuff. Then, like, bringing in this, like, lighthearted, funny moments with Bartholomew, but it didn't seem, like, out of place.
Yeah.
And so I also really like it.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I also really like that this was a fantasy mystery. So I love that. One of my biggest genres that I delve into is murder mystery thrillers, and I feel like I got both in this book.
Yeah, I could see that. Because she's, like, trying to figure out what happened, and obviously, like, the overall what's been going on for all these years and everything.
Yeah, I also kind of like that, and then it also kind of goes into, like, about political twist, a capitalistic kind of twist, with the king wanting to seize power and take opportunities like the cathedral and the abbess being gone. So I'm sure we'll see more of that in that kind of storyline going into the next book. So I'm excited for the next one because it's going to be a different tone. I feel like this one was very much murder mystery fantasy, and then I think the next one is going to be leaning more towards building up that storyline. Anyway, I really like the engagements. Overall, loved it. I really, really liked it. I had high hopes for this book, and it met them. I know. I'm kind of like going back and forth. So I'm giving it a 4.5. Giving it a 4.5. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I don't know why I'm not giving it a 5. Yeah. But there's something, maybe because I left me out the figure and I'm not about it. But I'm just going to give it a 4.5.
That's what my rating is as well. I also can't put my finger on why it's not a 5, because I did really like it, but I just don't feel like I'm thinking about other books that I've given a 5 to, and I just don't think it was like quite there. It was very good, but there's just something that's like not letting me push it over. And maybe it was the ending. I'm with you too. I don't know.
I can't quite put my finger on it. I did give the funny story a 5, but that one, like, I had like a lot of emotional connection to that one because whatever. But this one, I really, really enjoyed it, and it's very different. So I think it's more than a 4. But I can't put my finger on it why I can't give it a 5. Maybe I'll give the whole overall series a 5.
Maybe we'll see what happens. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just because like how it ended. It was like, no, that can't be it because.
Oh yeah,
I've given other books.
I've given other
that were like major. I don't know. I'm literally right there with you. That's exactly what I was about to say. Was like, I want to give it a 5, but like for some reason I'm just like not quite. But very good. Highly recommend.
Next week, TBR. I can't do it at the same time. Our next read. It's gonna be. What's our next read?
Guys, he told me.
James Patterson. Speaking of murder mystery.
What a coincidence.
Right on point there. So now's your chance to grab a copy and meet us here next Sunday. We'll have thoughts.